Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter will hand over the reins of the state police agency to the next person to run it once Governor-elect Mike Braun takes office. That happens next month. I talked with Carter about his time running the agency, the ups, the downs, the tragedies, and the grief.
The enormity and the pressure of this desk is very real.
12 years after taking the helm of Indiana State Police, Doug Carter is just days away from his final time behind his desk. An exit interview of sorts. We are the first to sit down with him for this conversation. His 4-decade career in law enforcement will end when Governor-elect Mike Braun's term begins.
My entire life has been this, and I remember when I called my dad and told him I got that interview with Mike Pence for this position.
His tenure as the state's top cop lasted 2 governors and stretched through event after event. In just the first 6 months of last year, 5 members of law enforcement died while on duty. That included 2 state troopers, James Bailey and Aaron Smith. It was Carter's grim duty to present the American flags that draped the caskets to their heartbroken families. It was the 2016 deaths of 4 black girls in Flora that sent chilling ripples through Carroll County after they died in an arson that today remains unsolved. Is that case still solvable?
Yes.
What makes you say that?
People talk about and fall back on this. I think it's an excuse of a cold case. If people are alive, it's not cold. So, to the person out there, I would say that set that fire. I would say to them, I don't believe you intended to kill those 4 beautiful little girls. I don't believe you did. Was it murder? No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was. I think there was something else. I don't know what that something else is, but there was something else.
Still in the early stages of that investigation, another emerged. The grisly 2017 murders of Abby Williams and Libby German, the years-long search for a killer, and the subsequent murder trial of Richard Allen all happened under Carter's purview. It was not a state police case, but Carter was often the public face of that investigation.
We believe you are hiding in plain sight.
He says it still touches him deeply. Abby, Libby, and the girls who died in that fire, Kiana, Kiara, Cariel, and Keone, all written by hand and sit on Carter's desk. A judge's gag order still limits what Carter can say about the Delphi murders.
No, and I can't think of a case in our history that had gained that much attention for that length of time.
Have you run into political influence in the agency's investigations?
If I would not be sitting here if I did. I would retire that day.
Carter tells me he has also used his final years as the head of state police to push for changes in policing, sparked by the deaths of young black men at the hands of police. Most notably, the death of George Floyd in 2020. He wants a change in police culture.
And I got a lot of haters along the way by trying to embrace it. And what I'm talking about is the color of my skin versus the color of yours. And having those conversations with people. Because what I saw was not okay. And if you weren't a police officer after George Floyd, you don't have any idea. You don't understand.
Some people would, as you're obviously aware, look and say, what does this white man know about police reform? What does this white man know about, all of it, right? To those kind of things, what would you say?
I don't. Don't expect me to. But I want to understand the difference. We're a damaged profession, and it's going to take a while for us to climb out of that.
The microscope that law enforcement policing is under, is it deserved?
Absolutely. It's okay. We should not be ashamed of it.
Is there one thing you could point to and say, man, I'm glad I accomplished that?
Now we have a vibrant and active and alive aviation unit. Our laboratory system, we had a 45-year-old laboratory system, or the capital, the buildings, the availability of technology. The scientists were working in broom closets. I'm leaving the recruitment thing broken. I've not fixed it. And that's one of my biggest regrets. One of my biggest regrets. We have less troopers today in Indiana than we had in 1984 when I started.
In the 40 years since, Carter has had lots of time to think about what comes after he steps away. Carpentry, he says, working to carve detailed pieces of wood while retired. As we finish our conversation, he sits behind his own intricately carved desk made by the Department of Corrections. For the next person to sit here, he has these words. For that person, what would you tell that person?
Well, I'm going to write him a letter. I'm going to leave it right here on this star, and on my badge when I leave. But the crux of that letter is always care about others, not yourself. But I've never done what I knew was wrong. I have never done what I knew was wrong. I made some bad decisions, but never that I knew, never vindictive, never with a personal benefit in mind.
Carter politely declined to tell me exactly what he plans to write in that letter. It was something he said he wanted to keep between he and whomever it is next to take over the seat that he occupies.